I don't know if you know Brace, but he found these on Amazon for
Yeah.
like $4.
That's awesome.
I don't try to wear it too often.
But it does look like G for Greg. It's if that's all the water you're drinking today,
I'll remember.
be like, oh yeah, my coat.
Put it on the door.
There you go. Now you'll see it.
That'll be that for sure.
Blends in with that chair.
Yeah, it does.
Camouflage.
Ari's got like a golf ball on her front lip.
Really?
They neglected to salt their driveway. It already got hurt.
That's not true. They were sledding down my driveway.
And I was pushing. I pushed Nora down the driveway. And I was like, Ari, do you want to push? She's like, no, I can go faster on my own. She jumps on the front of it. Her knees hit the driveway. And like she's got one tooth. She got one big tooth.
Yeah.
Tooth first.
Yeah.
into the driveway.
No way.
Cut her top lip open.
Oh yeah.
It's not as big as a golf ball, but she can't eat very good.
Oh no, I've got stitches here and here from those things. Lips were split in both of them. This one I had to get stitched on the inside and out.
Jeez.
That was a football injury though, but teeth went through it, same thing. Brittany, hello.
One more, we got a quorum.
She looked at herself in the mirror and she's like, I'm gonna give myself nightmares.
That so sounds like Ari. That is so Ari right there. Should have called out a brought Ray over. Should have been like, Ari, it's okay. It's okay, Ari.
She thinks everyone at school is gonna make fun of her.
How old is she?
7.
Oh.
First grader.
We all got first graders.
I was gonna say, if it's middle school, everybody's gonna make fun of you regardless.
Oh yeah.
Starts in-
All I know is people are best friends and not best friends like daily.
Yeah.
Ray comes home, someone doesn't want to be my friend anymore. Why is that? Well, they just didn't play with me today. Well, that doesn't mean they don't want to be your friend. I was like, they're playing with somebody else.
I didn't want to play with you yesterday.
And then the next, oh no, we're friends. We played today. Oh, okay, great.
Great. Things are on the map.
Yeah. Oh.
It still happens as adults.
Yeah. Only a
Kelsey?
What? I'm studying. Studying.
So that's why I have a dog.
yeah.
2. That's up to you.
Did your boy cut his hair?
Just kick him every time. Yeah.
'Cause I know, like the last time I talked to
I
him,
didn't think anybody would know it because I didn't think we took that much off. But
like, well, last time I talked to him was before the haircut, and then he was like, "Yeah, I'm getting a haircut." He's like, "You know my dad, right?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm getting a haircut." I'm like, "Okay, thanks, great." And so he's rolling up to school on his bike, you know.
like he goes back and forth between wanting it short like a normal haircut or
Yeah.
long. Like, why don't you get in between?
Yeah.
You got time to make up your mind. So we took like 4 inches off, which turned out to be quite a bit. Do I have to do anything with my?
Or home. What were you saying?
Is there anything I need to do with my new sports engine profile?
Your profile?
Yeah.
You're gonna put a photo on there?
Hey, Chris, I thought it was
No.
Actually,
I don't think I'll do that.
so actually there's a place where all the park and rec board members are supposed to have a photo.
Oh,
So I just want you
sweet.
guys to
Oh,
tonight,
fantastic.
I'm taking individual photos and posting it.
Banner. Sweet.
If you don't, Brittany will go to your
Just kidding, I
Facebook
won't do
pictures
that,
and
but-
just pull it from there.
Yes.
We can begin whenever you're ready, Mr. Chairman.
I got one walking down the hallway.
Okay.
Tina,
Yes,
would you grab me some,
yes.
Me too.
Oh.
please? Just all around.
Bring 'em
Oh,
all.
we got ours.
First meeting?
I'm just starting to learn what to do.
It snowed today, and so she was a little frazzled.
It's what day?
It snowed today, so you
Oh,
were a little
it's-
frazzled.
Did it snow today?
Oh, it was blowing
I
enough.
feel
It felt
like it snowed
snowed.
yesterday, the day before, and all the days before that.
You know.
But not today.
Just continued. I know when I was driving today, it felt like it was snowing.
I would never wear it, but yeah.
Oh, here comes Ross. What? Eat, slow down, don't pull a hammy.
I don't know.
I looked across at 8 points. What's
I look different?
What?
I look different?
No,
Oh.
you just looked over here and I'm like, what?
Did you hear that we're taking photos today for the new website?
What?
Before we begin, I
I don't wanna
have
be
the
over
applications
track.
here that we're so
share
far
with me if you
considering
want.
interviewing, so if anybody wants to look through them, if you know any of them.
I would
let
like
me
to
know.
look through them, please.
We've got more applications than that, we still got it active for 2 weeks, so, but the applications really slowed down midweek last week, so.
Perfect.
All right,
All right, now a motion to start the meeting.
I'll motion to start.
I'll second the motion.
All right, we have a motion, it has been seconded, we are now in session. Just wanted to do that. All right, any additions to or approvals of the agenda?
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
Jason, you had just mentioned in the text message, can you add 2020 expenditures, project priorities?
Yep.
Is that on there?
It's not.
Where do you want it added to?
Well, that'd be new
Thought
business.
we should brainstorm and prioritize what projects we want to complete in 2020, if that's not been discussed already.
Well, so we have dollars, I think the city set aside, but we have some of our own money in it. We should probably talk about priorities and what we want to look at for projects in 2020 is
So
what I thought.
let's put that as G.
Well, I think we can get rid of F, right?
Right.
yeah, sorry, that should
Yeah.
already be off there.
Yeah, so we'll get rid of F and then replace F with 2020.
I will make a motion to approve the agenda with the adjustments of removing F and replacing F with 2020 plan.
I second.
All right, we have a first and we have a second. Has been amended. All right, so all in favor? This is when I got all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right.
Aye.
All right, it has been amended. All right. We have no visitors. So we'll move to the minutes. Anybody, do we have approval for minutes from the November 3rd meeting? Or do we have any adjustments to it?
Did we decide if we need to take roll, or are we just, somebody's documenting?
So how I was gonna do it is members present, members not present,
Okay.
and then I think somebody was gonna like keep an Excel
I
spreadsheet.
think so, yeah,
Maybe Denise?
I think Denise was gonna do it.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda. From November 3rd.
The minutes.
Minutes, yes.
I'll second that.
All right, we have a motion and a second to approve the minutes. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right. All right, reports. Any reports? Okay. Old business. All right, update on assigned task.
Do you have anything from last time?
The only thing I can think of is, were you going to bring the results of
The
the
survey,
survey? That was,
Yes.
I think you said you were gonna do that this time.
yep, we were,
Okay, so then we'll just do that next
next
time.
meeting, yeah.
Anything else? All
By
right.
and large, the survey is very positive, by the way, so.
Awesome.
Will that include ours?
Yeah, he's sending it.
And we did get, I wanna say probably 4 or 5 results after we sent it out to the fall soccer.
Okay.
All right, park repair list update. Anything else been done since our last meeting?
Not at this point, I don't think so. They're working on winterizing quite a bit of the equipment right now, so, or were last week, I should say. So, should be good to go.
Did they get the net down?
I think so.
It was
It's
there
in the
today.
Is the net and the batting?
batting cage net
Yeah.
and stuff?
I was hitting the other day and it was gone.
Okay, good. Some people talked about leaving it up, but I don't think that's the best.
Yeah.
Too windy and cold.
Yeah, can't help it.
It's not bad until that,
Get a
until
sheet
like
of
ice
ice on
on there and then it
Yeah.
can, so. Brian, who works on the streets crew, had talked about rigging up a system of pulleys that you can get it up and down with. And renting a lift every year to get that net up and down could be
You're talking the big field net, right? I'm talking the batting cage net, but.
Batting cage.
Well, yeah.
Yep.
Because the batting cage has a pulley system,
Yeah,
but,
Yep.
yeah.
so we'd like to rig something similar up with the, with a big
field,
field.
so they don't mess the field up every year with the lift.
Yep.
But we got it all down and everything.
As far as I know, yeah.
Okay. So the other thing,
I don't know, I look at that thing every day, I can't. No, I can't think of whether it's down or not, I'm pretty sure.
I drove by a week ago, it wasn't enough.
Yeah.
can I arm that security system down there too and for the winter, or?
Yeah, I think so.
So if people are gonna go in there, let me know, or we'll establish a code or something.
I can't think of anybody that would keep me in there at this point. Lauren's been over the years, so.
I've been in there a couple times last month.
Okay.
Just building stuff, or
I was gonna look at building.
I just dropped my stuff off like last week.
The school softball stuff is out there.
Okay.
I just think it makes sense, I guess, to, since it's there to arm it, and if we need to get into it, we'll just,
Yep, just how hard.
yeah.
All right, well, we'll move to new business. The Park and Recreation website.
So, it's actually, a little more work than I anticipated, but I think the initial work will just be a lot to get it started, and then once it's up and running, year to year, I think it'll be a lot more seamless. And it's still worth every penny with all of the extras that comes with it, but, we did pay that extra $500 to have them kind of help with the design, but there's still a lot of design components that we individually have to do. So I've been working on that, hoping to have that all finalized within the next couple weeks so that we can open registration in January. So the website does have a place to have all of our Park and Rec members' photos and a biography. So
Sweet.
if you're interested.
Does it have to be like, can it be a fictional biography, or does it have to be?
I think it, since it's going to be published on the website, I would say it should be accurate.
Do you want us to stay on, or stay on? I don't take pictures of my family, maybe.
I'll just crop everyone's photos from Facebook, give me approval for that. Other than that, it's going really well. I think it's gonna look really nice. There's just a lot to be done to get it up and running, I think, so.
Does it have areas for sponsors and stuff?
It does, yes.
Okay.
Yep, it has actually a nice area for sponsors. And when, in building the, so the registration component is just one little piece of actually creating the whole website. And so the registration component I actually have finalized, so we're just working on the actual website. But for registration it asks like, are you interested in sponsoring, yes or no? And then if they say yes, it asks if they wanna add it to their registration, and then they can just pay at that time. And they can choose an amount or just do any amount with that as well.
Well, we've had before, it's just business sponsors, right? I know people, I think last year some people paid some money or something like that for just whatever, but,
So this will allow for any, it'll be, I mean, if somebody wanted to individually sponsor, they could do that as well. And then it will give them a little, if you are a business, you can send in your logo to this, this email address.
cause what's South Dakota Junior Football and some of these, You know, they have team sponsors, and obviously they make a lot of revenue off of that, but then, you know, it's all over their jerseys and all this kind of stuff for that team. And with us recycling our jerseys and stuff, it would be pretty hard to do that for anything above, what, 7 and 8, I suppose, we still get shirts every year. But then you gotta get not only the same color, you gotta do all that work, so the reason we decided just business sponsors before and having it across the whole site with some emails and registrations, just because it seemed like it was a lot of work to manage. You know, the
Well,
other-
we can sure just say, you know, if you are, or is your business or the business you work for interested in sponsoring?
That's
Would you rather
kind of what we did
word it
before.
like that?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
I can do that.
And then what we tried to do, which I personally didn't do a very good job of last year, we gotta make sure they get on there, but we're supposed to send out 3 or 4 emails through the year to all the group, in the group, thanking them for their sponsors, saying, hey, use these guys and stuff like that. They all got onto the website, but there's some people that didn't pay that were still on the website from years before, so I think it's a good way to make at least $1,000 to $1,500 for our, you know, back into the program with very little, you know, work if we follow through and do it right, so.
Yeah, and then so this is a perfect example of, in a couple weeks when it's, I guess, finalized, the first draft, I'll send it out so you guys can look and you can actually go through a registration and you can go on the website, you can go to all the different pages. And if there's something you see that you don't like, we can fix that before it's live. So-
Yeah, that's always a good thing to test it.
so.
So far easier though, they're saying,
Yeah, so far, I think it's gonna be, I mean,
other than building from scratch.
correct, that's just the part that's hard, but nothing existed before, so we're building it from scratch, basically. But once that's done, I think it's gonna be a lot easier. And just seeing the functionality of it already, I mean, building the website, you can drag and drop things, you can see a live view of it, and just that alone is huge for being, like, using a webmaster function, be able to see it like that, so.
Can you copy from our old one still? Things like our, kind of our disclosure statement that your pictures might be used,
So,
some kind of liability.
A lot of that stuff, when I read through it, it was kind of outdated, some of the things that it said in there, so I updated it, tweaked it a little bit.
Yeah.
And then there is a place on the website where it builds it into registration, but then it also has it on the website. So that's all listed there. So when they go through to register, it'll have a page that they, yes, I acknowledge the photo release, yes, I acknowledge that I won't hold the city accountable. I can't remember what the other one is. Code of conduct. I included code of conduct, that wasn't on there before, but just because we had issues with coaches and stuff in the past, that'll go out to all parents, that they're saying, by signing this or submitting this, I adhere to the code of
Well, in
conduct.
the old one, they had to check it, otherwise it
Yeah.
wouldn't let you go to the next page.
It was
But-
on there.
But it didn't
Was
make
it?
you read it.
Right.
You just
Yeah.
had to check it, you know, so.
There was a code of conduct though that wasn't in the registration, that was in, like, there was a separate one for soccer, a separate one for softball, a
Coaches.
separate one for baseball. Well, this said just, it didn't say
It's just
coaches
general.
though, it was general, so I combined those and put it in one on registration, so.
Well, that's good too, then the parents, you can say, you check the box, you sign your kid up, you check the box, it's.
The other thing too is right now, all the registrations are in one, so it's just spring, summer, rec registration. So I wanted to check, is that okay, or do you, like on the old website, we had to have soccer separate, but I don't think we have to do that now. But we would want the dates to be the same as far as when it opened and closed.
So they would check a box saying that they, like, how would they say that they wanted to sign up for soccer?
So it's,
Sorry.
no, it's okay, it's a lot fancier than the old
Mhm.
website, so there's like drop-down boxes. Yes, I
Oh,
wanna
yeah.
sign up for Lennox Park and Rec for spring, summer rec 2020. And you put in all your information, which are you signing up for, baseball, softball, or t-ball, or soccer? And then below that, it says, what is your date of birth, or what's your child's date of birth? And it filters, it won't let you select 9/10 if your child's birth date falls in 7/8, and then
That's
it
good.
will only let you do soccer, baseball, so they'll have to do another registration then for if they wanna do soccer and baseball.
Which would be good,
Right.
and can they, and from what what you're reading, it doesn't jumble them up. They can be on multiple teams.
Correct, like, you mean like they can be on baseball and soccer?
Right.
Correct, yes.
Cause that was where
Yeah.
our problem was before, is once they did it, they didn't let them be on both.
Yeah, it was confusing.
Yeah.
Yeah, the other thing I can ask too is if they can do it within one registration, like can they pull in soccer and say, I also wanna register this same child for baseball? I can ask if that's an option.
About multiple children.
Yeah, like after you register, say, do you wanna register for any other sports, or do you wanna complete your checkout?
Like
like a
continue
family
shopping.
option?
Do you wanna continue
Continue
shopping?
shopping.
Right?
Would you like to continue shopping for more programs for your child, or would you like to check out?
It was Black Friday.
And you said siblings.
You know, I just know,
Yeah, no, it is nice to not have to, I know that was one thing with the old website, to have to do, you had to do a new username and
Yeah.
password for each child.
Yeah.
That was
annoying.
frustrating. And I didn't know if it was working either before I was on
It'd
Perk.
seem weird to take you back to that same
Right.
page or something,
Yeah.
like,
Right.
where did I go? Or-
So,
When I
yeah.
signed sports, my name's on there and Ella's name's on there.
She just in one though, or one sport?
When I enroll in a sport, it asks me if Sean wants to do it or Bill wants to.
I think it's all combined with all the other sports engine people that, like Harrisburg and T and all that, so you're already in the system, I think.
Cause,
Is-
yeah,
Is
cause
that
when
for
I
a
log
men's
in
league or
to
something, a
do,
basketball?
Just coaching.
yeah.
Oh,
so when I go in to do the webmaster piece, like building the site for Lennox, I have Kale on the drop-down box, and there's also, we have basketball and football, no, not football, I don't know, something else drops down. Anyway, some other sport, but it's all connected to one email, so. Anyway, that's it, that's all I have.
Awesome. All right, what do we have for soccer?
So just following up, did you talk to the school, or you're gonna wait till, about field usage for spring?
For spring,
Yeah,
yeah, they were okay with.
they already have.
Yeah, we'll have to work out a facility agreement, that's
Okay,
pretty normal, we do those already.
okay. Just let me know if I need to do something with that.
Yep.
And that's such a better place to set it up anyways.
Yeah,
It's dry, the parking.
Dry
lot.
and lots of parking.
Yeah.
right. Cassie and I talked to Dakota Alliance, and we will be having another camp, this summer. Not sure of the ages that we'll have that with. We had a great turnout for little kids, but not so good for like 6th grade and up. So, just going to see what we can do there. But that won't be until August, but they are starting planning already. So is that something that can get put on the website?
Yes, so we can
Okay.
add a new registration at any
Okay.
time.
Okay, that'll be good.
Do you want that there now, or when do you think that will open?
Well, I don't know, cause they have, Dakota Alliance has some weird, registration stuff, themselves. So I don't know whether they want us to or what, you know.
I'll just wait until we
Mhm.
get it, since
Yeah.
it's kind of in the design
Yeah, it'll be a
stage.
while, it'll be a
Okay.
while, yep. So, we plan to do that. And then the only other thing is, when we send out surveys, I just noticed the questions that were sent out, some of them that went for soccer still pertain to baseball and softball. At least that's what,
They
was
should have
sent
selected
Denise.
out based on.
Oh, that's what
sport.
Denise had sent to me.
Okay,
And so it looked like we were asking soccer parents about
how
baseball
they
and
like
softball.
baseball?
Yeah, so it just kind of seemed a little bit weird. So as long as
I'll have to
maybe
look
she
up the
just sent
question
me.
logic on that, cause it
Mhm.
should, if they're going through soccer, it should select out anything that pertains to
Okay,
that.
and maybe she just sent me all the questions. But if it didn't, I would like it to just be specific to soccer next time, cause that's confusing. I thought. Anything else, Cassie?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Will we be able to use the old football field for the Dakota Alliance summer?
I'm
camp?
sure.
Do you think it should be in okay?
Yeah, I mean, the only, if there's, you know, if we have field that we're going to put there, from
Right.
Central Basin 2 or 3, that might make it unusable for the entire each season. But if that's the case, then we'll work with the school district to find something.
Okay.
I don't think using that space is an issue until we get, well, yeah, August is when they start those practices, so. When
Yeah.
did we do the
We
camp?
ran it
Wasn't
in
it
it was the,
first week of
like
August?
6th of August.
Okay.
6th through 10th or something, right? I think so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was warm.
It was,
Sounds like
it was
August.
a couple weeks before school started.
Okay,
Mhm.
all right.
All right, let's move to pool project.
So we actually have, recently received a donation from the railroad, BNSF. So I submitted a grant in July, and then I did get a phone call, and they asked, several different questions, but then after that I didn't hear anything. And then they got a letter at City Hall with a $10,000 check the other day.
Nice.
That's great.
Yeah.
Can you get
so-
your sunshade now since you lost your trees?
Well, we have to sit down, yeah. We have to sit down and kind of figure out, of course, I want to make sure we have all the life-saving amenities first, and then after that, I think we'll get some really nice equipment. So we're just almost at 50,000. So just from this, that's just from this summer, so that can be combined too with our contingency fund that's still there, which is 35-ish. What's that look for? We don't get to use that, okay?
It's not 35.
It was, and then the electrical.
Yeah, we had electrical and we had some, those change orders.
Wasn't it at 40, and then there was the electrical?
Denise and I went through the math like a week and a half ago. I'd have to go look at it again, but
Okay. But the remainder of that though, can that be utilized once
Yeah.
the project is complete?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think we're at the point where, you know, whatever change orders we have, we're gonna be pretty limited. So,
Other than that, we're still, I don't know if they have actual completion yet, do they, Nate? Have they said?
no,
It's in about 2 weeks though, right?
yeah, that's when their substantial completion date is. We have an update meeting next week? I think it's next week.
Is the weather holding them up?
I don't
Well,
think she's.
not a whole lot at this point. I mean, there's a few things outside that they're gonna wait until spring for. They're pretty small. I know the fence posts are up. I'm not sure if they're ready to install the actual fence or not. But most of the other work is wrapped up for the year, so. Their main foreman left 3 weeks ago, so Joey's now on site to kind of wrap things up for the year, so.
He was working on Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
Whoever was there.
Yeah.
Like, he was working today, he was working on
I
Thanksgiving.
thought I saw somebody out there
Yeah.
today.
I was like, ooh, you guys should be the street crew.
From your
Because they aren't.
point of view, quality been good?
Yes, absolutely. Yep, they've been, very good in terms of, you know, the work that they're putting in and the weathering, which they'll work, quite honestly. When we were going down Fourth Avenue trying to get sidewalks wrapped up for the year, we're hearing from some contractors, well, it's too cold to do sidewalk anymore. Well, the guys from Missouri that are working on the pool were pouring that day, you know, they've been cold since August.
Well, you can pour concrete
So,
all you want.
yeah.
Well, it just depends on what kind of, what the batch.
They've been working really hard. I mean,
Yep.
we live close to there, and I mean, it's crazy
People who don't want
how
those
much
heavy
they
tarps,
have
so they don't let it.
been working like nonstop. I mean,
Evenings.
like
Those are people who don't like the
evenings,
season
they're
to
out there
unemployment.
during the weekend, they're,
Well, most of them are
Summer,
traveling, so you
winter
might as well
vacation
work.
time.
yeah.
Yep,
they're
if they're here,
You might as well be working, you
Yep.
know, it's kind of surprising they can get people to do that, but.
Yeah, it was, I was really impressed.
Nate, I didn't get an email update for a meeting for this month.
okay, I'll
I
check.
must not have been included on there. If she wants me there, could you send it?
You did call her cheese.
I know. I woke up
I don't see it
in the
here.
middle of the night, just like thinking of things I had to do, and I quick wrote an email to, her name is Cherie,
Mhm.
and Fritz. Well, it auto-corrected to Fritz and cheese instead of Fritz and Cherie. So now there's this joke that we're gonna have like Ritz crackers and cheese at the grand opening.
That
So
sounds great.
this poor lady now is called cheese at her office. So, yeah,
Oh, she got
maybe
Brittany.
she doesn't like me anymore.
I don't see it on mine either, so maybe we didn't have it December scheduled yet.
Between now and grand opening, is there gonna be a lot of work that you need to do, or do you have a committee that's helping you?
I think when we've talked about getting something together before spring really hits, because getting the grand opening pulled off, I think is gonna take a fair amount of work, so I'm sure we'll be looking for volunteers for that, if there's
Yeah.
any, I don't know if there's anything I'm missing there, but.
Yeah, I think, I agree with that. I'm sure there will be some work to do. And then I'm looking, I've contacted a couple different companies and Sean helped to try to find some too. I'm struggling with what to do specifically for a feature, having somebody design one. We've gotten quotes. We originally were gonna do the brick walkway, but we're not doing that anymore. So just, if anyone has ideas of a company that could design something for us, mock something up, I don't know,
A pool feature or like a feature?
I'm sorry,
A
for
donor
sponsor,
wall.
like a donor
sponsor.
wall.
Okay, I'm like, there's.
So I've kind of stalled because we were, we did the donor brick wall is what we were thinking of doing, or the walkway. But we decided that maybe it would be better to have something on the actual building. When I talked to Carruthers, I asked if they could put something on the building that we could just, put those, whatever, stones or brick onto, and they didn't know that you could actually, they said they didn't think you could put something onto the brick, but they didn't think that would work, but I've seen it before.
That's weird.
So I think if we I just don't know who to call for
It's
that.
called a drill bit and anchor.
So I don't know if we do like a wood platform and then I don't know what it looks like, I don't know how to design something like that, and I don't know how to explain what what I want it to look like. So if anybody knows of,
What about pictures? Can you find a picture on the internet or something like that? That's
so
always gonna be the best.
on the sponsorship request document that everybody should have gotten in the mail, but I can email it out too, that's the closest I've come to what I want, is what's listed on there. But I'd like it to be mounted on the wall. It's almost like bronze plates it's actually on like a fiberglass, and then if it could be screwed into the, I don't know if you can screw it.
You can.
I don't know, I just
you-
don't know.
You can anchor in a
So-
brick
You
easy.
can, but
That's
that is a lot of work.
Yeah.
And they tend to, run on you a little, so trying to get everything level, if you went across, might be difficult, but you should be able to screw something to it, even if
Right.
it's a stainless steel metal piece,
Yeah.
and then
Right.
put your thing on there.
Mhm.
I wouldn't necessarily try to drill every single little plaque.
No,
Yeah,
yeah,
no.
you'd have to put a frame and then.
Just one.
Yeah,
and then-
but there should be some frame, and then you could mount them and do whatever you wanted to.
Mhm.
Because we did have a brick company, and they did send sample bricks here to City Hall, but they're just large bricks, and it would have to be like in a brick walkway, and I just don't know if that's the best way to display the sponsors. So
Mhm.
I'd like to do something different. I'd like to have it by grand opening, so that it's there. I did
Oh.
notice when I went to Beersford this summer, they didn't have it.
Also like that, Brittany?
Yes, so that one, that's kind of the closest I've come to what I'm
So-
thinking of.
so
Why
that's-
couldn't you mount that?
Is there
same
no
thing?
room somewhere I can be in front
Well,
of
that's
There is,
easy enough
yeah.
though.
We could do it in the landscape too,
You
but then
could,
do we have to, I don't know who to contact, like who designs that? Is it a landscape company? Is it a stone company? Like who
Signage.
does this?
well, but,
The sign company will do the
Yeah.
sign, but the landscaping's easy enough.
Right.
Just drilling holes.
but even that sign right there, all those are like laminate pieces that have been laser engraved. We do that every day at work, it's easy. And so you could laser engrave each one of those tiles, that takes,
What material
nothing.
is
It's like
an
a,
actual tile?
yeah, well, it's actually like a plexi material. And you can get them in any color, any shape,
So is that
Crazy
something
what's
that
out
your
there.
company does?
Yeah,
That you could get
but
a
there
quote?
have been a lot of it. There's, I don't want to, but a lot of the sign or companies like that do it. So it's not, that's fairly simple, and everybody could quote whatever, but I can tell you if it's high or not.
I think
Mhm.
getting the sign on is one thing, but you also need to get, somebody has to hold us all together,
Right, that's the thing.
construction wise.
Right, and so I'm struggling with who do I reach out to start with that, and,
I would start with a sign, and then
They've probably got
see
people to work
see
with.
what you're missing, cause it might be, hey, I need somebody to put a
Put some concrete.
post hole in here and mount a beam, and then this will go to it. They might do it all,
Yeah.
I
A
would
lot of
start
them do it
there and
all.
see, plus then the construction company's gonna say, okay, what do you need me to do? You're like, well, I don't even have a sign, so you gotta kinda start with the sign, I think, and the look that you want. And then, and there's local contractors around here that'd be super easy to do that too. If it ends up being involved, the city's got good guys that can do that too, if it's.
I think it would
easy
look
enough.
nice if it was in like a landscape feature.
Yeah.
I think that would look
I
really
think it would
Do
nice.
you want it designed landscaped or just,
I
think
would
if you,
like it designed landscape too.
if you
I'd
had
like
something
to
that
see what
looked like
would look
that, that would be,
What is that face for? Well, don't ask, just say,
It's money.
I
we
don't
got a
think
great
we should
landscape
do
designer,
landscape.
but
Okay,
it's expensive.
well,
Well,
I don't wanna
but
pay
you're
for somebody
talking-
to do
no,
it.
you don't
I
have
want
time
them to
for
do it
that.
for free,
No,
and if I
no,
like it, then
no.
we'll go with their
Talking
service.
about,
But we have to look at the front of the building and
yeah, but I mean, if there's gotta be some
There's-
sort of
where were you
landscape
thinking
design
of
right
putting-
now, the front of the building,
Well,
or just all.
I don't know
sorts
that
of-
there's room at the front of the building,
Yeah.
so that's the
You can
part
put
where
it
it
in
kind of
the
went away from landscape, because I don't know if there's room at the front of the building, so then it would go
Right.
over by kind of pedal
Making
paths.
something that's a little
And so then
around
I
there,
don't
just
know
a
that
little
people
bush,
would
almost
see
like it has
So
the
then
sign of
I
Western
started to
Park.
think, well, should we
You
just
know,
put
you
it
don't
on
have
the
much
side
landscape,
of the
you got a couple
building?
days
And then I
around
got
there.
overwhelmed and kind of stopped.
You know,
Should
rock.
go
Working
take
on
that
it.
lawn to the side of the
I
building.
mean,
That's
do-
what I want,
And you
that's
could
what I
do
wanna
that
do,
too.
if there's not room for landscape.
Yeah,
And I
that-
don't know if the front you
that
put
might be the
landscape
best.
there.
Well, we're gonna have concrete running right up to the,
Couldn't you just bolt them?
Asphalt.
You
right to
can,
the
you can
concrete?
bolt it right to the concrete,
Right.
you wouldn't even have to attach it
You
to
don't
the
even
wall.
touch the wall.
So that's exactly
you
what
put
I
in
asked
spacers
for
back
others.
there,
Yeah.
Right.
stick out an inch or two.
And they said
No,
that
you- I
they
think-
don't typically bolt anything.
you guys are talking about bolting it to
Straight to
cement.
the cement,
Yeah, on the
yeah,
ground, not.
Oh,
not
on
to
the ground.
on the
Okay.
ground, and with your
That's the
pillars.
same thing they're doing, they're in the corners.
Because the
Same thing
right
with
side of that
concrete down
sign,
there.
all that is it's a polymetal with a vinyl wrap on it. And so that's, I mean, it's super thin, it's not heavy.
But it'd be easy enough to do it off the block too, as long as.
Oh, yeah, it all
it's
slides
four-
in.
Four spot.
Right.
I think if you had just the sign, 2 spark poles,
Yep.
I think we could easily get that done right in
Yeah,
front.
we could do it here, and I mean, the city could put all the posts and everything in, and you can find
That's
some, any graphics company, us or anything, can do a polymetal vinyl wrap sign that would slide right in. It's,
But then the little tiles then,
you just laser engrave, and you just have on the sign, and then you'll have a spot where they can slide them in.
so that can be added to at
Yep.
any time. I want it to be able to be where you can
Yeah,
add
you just
more
have,
later.
you just have a rail on top and the bottom, then it slides in.
Okay. So is that something your company can do?
Yeah.
Can
Yeah.
you,
I'll
can you
throw some
mock
stuff
something
there,
up?
yeah.
Can you do that?
I'll
Okay.
mock something up.
Well, I think Jason, you want something like that too for the,
Yeah, not quite as elaborate for the other building.
Is it too elaborate?
No, but I mean, the other building, it wasn't quite the donations I think, you know, you're getting here or whatever.
Right.
But just a very similar sign that would mount to the side though, is almost exactly, just maybe it might not be as big or not as many sponsors as whatever.
And if you could do like different sizes of
Yeah.
the tiles, so like we had 2 $10,000 donations, so I want
Right.
those to be large tiles. And then I'm working on, the amenities, being able to put the 2 $10,000 donors having their brand on
Okay.
their logo on those signs, or on those
I'm gonna
amenities.
email myself.
Okay. Other than that whole project, I don't have anything else. It was before the last meeting, I think we had the Mid-American donation, right? 10,000 for Mid-American, okay. So, that's all I have for the full project.
So we're on to
All right, we're
baseball.
Baseball.
Obviously not a lot to report there, but the other thing, I don't know if we should bring back, or what are you guys feeling? You know, we had a pretty good baseball committee with a lot of people that, coaches and different people that were in there. You know, they wanted kind of some input on improvements that we were gonna do. They wanted to know budget, like what do we even have, budget numbers, stuff like that. Obviously, we've never been able to give them any of that, but we can now. Does it make sense to continue on with our new director and everything else with that same, you know, with a committee like that?
Specialist.
Oh, a specialist or whatever.
Specialist,
Yeah, with our
yes.
specialist. You know what I mean? Cause
I'm just.
it is, you know, my thing wouldn't necessarily be, okay, hey, what are you gonna spend money on? But they have ideas about how to advance the program too, and maybe it's, you know, different camps or this and that sort of stuff. You know, does it make sense to still follow our format of committees and kind of
And I think committee is reporting to us, and then us giving feedback to the specialist, I think is the best way.
Right.
That way, nobody goes to the specialist directly and overwhelms them with a zillion
Yeah.
ideas.
You wanna avoid a management by committee
Right. situation
where, you know, 20 different committee members have 25 different ideas on how something should be run.
Well, those committee members also did a lot of work with, uniforms, equipment.
And I think having them there as a resource and guidance through, you know, especially that first year, we know that that's gonna be a rough time in terms of getting everything off the ground.
Do you think this person would go to that committee meeting?
I think it would make sense for them to be there, yeah.
I mean, I think it would if, you know, I mean, I think it's always.
We just have to
nice-
be careful, because they're, you know, are they getting direction from that committee,
No,
or are they getting input? And
More like-
that's the thing that we wanna.
yeah, more like taking notes or something.
It might get eaten alive the first
Yeah.
year.
Right. I mean, it might be better for us to be a
Well, we-
buffer in between
Maybe
that
one of us
person,
could go with.
you know, go with, because otherwise they might have a list a mile long.
My thinking is if this person, you know, if we're gonna ask them to, do the uniforms or handle the equipment or do stuff with concessions or do stuff with different things, then it might be easier if whoever it is present there to kind of help facilitate that, because they're gonna be directing their help or asking for their help, rather than coming back through us on a monthly basis when,
I agree with having them present, but I think there's gonna be a fine line between being present and kind of facilitating and running the meeting, and so I think one of us will have to be there
there's always
at
been
least in the
two,
spring.
two
just
members
to-
or three on our board that are in
That
that
are in
committee
it,
that
okay.
run it. You know, I'm just, that kind of run the thing, you do whatever and take charge of it, but you know, even this last year, we involved them and they did a lot of work.
Yeah,
And are we thinking with this specialist, they're no longer needed in that capacity? Now it's just a more of an advisory committee to give us, you know, to filter back through us to the board for changes in the program and just making sure they're,
Well, I think there's still gonna be help needed in terms of concessions and uniforms and those kinds of things. I mean, most of the legwork is going to be done by this position, ordering the food, restocking, you know, inventory, all that kind of stuff is gonna fall under that position. I just don't want it to be a situation where that position is taking direction from
right.
an unelected, unappointed committee of the community. You know, they have to go to specific people for direction. And it's not that they won't get good ideas from the committee, it's that I don't want them to feel that they need to take every one of those ideas as, you must do X, Y, and Z.
In meetings, you aren't usually, they haven't, at least in the past, as far as we've heard, it hasn't really been like that. But my thing is if they're gonna need their help to like pull this off,
Yeah,
then
I think
Then
they're
they
better
should
with
be-
that committee than without it. I'll say that.
then they should be there to at least know the players and also to be able to kind of know what if they need somebody, if someone says, hey, I'll take uniforms or I'll take equipment turning, whatever, then whoever this is kind of knows who's the helper there.
Yeah.
Rather than, or is our board gonna do it all, you know, I mean, I don't know, I mean, I think the committee, they're open to whatever they become too, right? Because it hasn't been that really organized the last year, maybe, or year and a half. But when we do have a meeting with them again, you know, I'd like to say, this is what your job is, or this is what this committee's to do. So, you know, that kind of comes into, the other years you go, please help me with everything you can do, right?
Yeah.
Who will do this, who will do that, whatever the deal, and you kind of sign them all up there,
Well, maybe
and you
the-
watch them and all that stuff.
The
And
best way to approach it for the first year then, I would think, is keep that committee intact. This Parks and Rec specialist attends. That committee is, their help is still gonna be needed. And it's not like all the work is gonna fall on this one person's shoulders anymore, or now. So I think we still need to have that process, if for no other reason, to make sure that person gets the advice they need and gets the help they need to make sure everything runs on game day or whenever else it may be.
And we can, you know, they would like, I know in the past, I'm not saying this every year or this year, but they do like to know where we sit financially as a board, or whatever the deal is, projects we're looking at doing, and where their money's going when it comes to the fees and stuff like that. We should be able to provide that.
Yeah, we could probably do a
At
pretty
least
easy
something.
breakdown of,
Yeah, just kind of where we are and what we're trying to do, because they're also people you ask to help raise, or do tournaments, or do stuff to raise. Because Chris and I should probably.
that's just off of the fees, right?
Yeah, they just, you know, when we raise fees to X, or we ask them to use their hat again, or the jersey again, sometimes they, or when something's maybe not done on the field, they kind of get this, where's our money going type stuff, or what's the money for fees going to. But regardless, they've been pretty good. I just wanna know.
You can ride anybody with that question.
Right.
The two departments that are most over budget for the year are both Parks and Rec
Yeah.
departments.
No, they just, just as easy to say, okay, hey, this is what we're doing, right? This is, and they're good with it. It's just, they've had problems in the past when we have no idea, you know, no idea. Like, I have no idea, you know? And unfortunately, I tell them I have no idea.
Yeah.
But,
No, that's pretty simple to pull.
yeah, I think that committee can be great, because in theory, we're still, you know, I guess, how many people have kids in baseball next year on this board? 5. So we're still pretty good represented baseball-wise by parents and stuff here, but that committee also brings in more people, just like anything else, that are coaches and different stuff, to get their input back to the board. And
Potential people to replace us.
and potential people to come this way, you know, because that's where a lot of people started too, is right there, and come this way, so. Okay, well, then we'll schedule, can we have that here?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
No
I
problem.
think Jason kind of, I don't know who, do you usually lead that meeting? Is it
Yeah.
someone? So if you could even provide an update at every meeting, this is what we've been working on, this is what we've budgeted for, this is where your money goes, something like that, instead of raising the questions, just have it,
Well, I
have
just need
something prepared, I guess.
the one thing, I just need to know, you know, let's say I put this meeting together, I need to kind of know what we're gonna go in and ask.
Right.
Nothing, something, you know, what's the path, even though we have a specialist, what is the path for this committee?
Well, and I think it's gonna be a transition period, because I assume with everything that we all did last year, we're still gonna need to do a lot of that this year to help him or her learn all of that, I assume.
Right.
Um,
Yes.
But, so it'll be a transition for some of those committees too, maybe this year, Butler will need to still do jerseys, but with the specialist help, I don't know.
Yeah, that'll be something that we'll have to kind of figure out, that communication
Right.
route. I mean, there's usually not, like there's 10 of them or something, they aren't really giving instructions, but some of them do it to a certain level, right? Some go over the top and do everything, and some do a quarter of it, you know? And the specialist hopefully is in charge of figuring out, if I only gotta do a quarter of this or 3/4 of this,
Right.
you know, and have that ultimate responsibility.
I think too, though, the specialist should have, and, I mean, that they can come in with ideas, potentially. Hopefully, we hire somebody that has ideas as to how to manage this stuff. They're coming in with a degree, they're coming in with stuff, right? So hopefully, they'll have ideas as to how to manage this stuff, versus entirely relying upon us volunteers
Right.
telling
Right.
them
Right.
how to do it. So hopefully, they'll come in and go, you know what? I know how to organize all the uniforms a certain way. I can make a spreadsheet. They probably, I don't know, have some sort of project plan
Program
on
or
it,
something.
right? And so, although yes, they'll need our help, I'm hoping that
They won't
they
need.
Take
hire
that
somebody,
initiative and-
that they take
yeah.
that initiative, that we
That
won't
would
need to
be
do that. I mean,
wonderful.
like T, like they handle all the. There is not volunteers handing out any uniforms at T. That is the people at the city. Bam, they do it all. You pay your $20, you pick it up, you get it from the city. That's what it is. So I mean, like, I'm sure that these Park and Rec, hopefully whoever we hire, will be able to do a lot of these things. that has
It
been
might
a
just be
struggle for
year
us,
two.
because we haven't,
Year one,
we
I
don't have
know,
that
though.
degree, you know, or at least I don't think anybody does.
I think looking at who's applied and who we're looking at interviewing, I feel pretty confident this, we're gonna have somebody that's ready to hit the ground running.
Right, so I just don't want, like, yes, we need the committee to help out, but I just don't want the committee to be like, this is how you do it, this is how it is, and then they're going, oh, but I have a much better idea as to how to do it, so we need to give them some latitude to be able to
Yes.
do that.
I think that will be
That's my
their role
biggest
if
concern
they
with this
want
goal,
to.
is that
Right.
they'll have, you know, everybody and their brother giving feedback on how
Mhm.
something's supposed
Right.
to run.
Yes.
And I don't,
Yes, it's a community program, yes, we need to have that input. But there are specific goals and objectives and missions we're trying to achieve with these programs.
Right,
And that may not be the top of mind item for Joe Smo out in the community.
the one thing, you know, and all this vouch for the committee, I mean, these guys are not dumb people, you know, they're very
No, of course not.
successful
oh,
people.
and we're not saying.
Probably more successful than this person coming in,
Right,
you know what I mean, to whatever, and they've done this, so we don't wanna go and kick them in the teeth and say, okay, whatever you've done in the past, or whatever,
no, I'm just saying
Yeah,
that
we're not
if this
listening
person
to you.
has ideas,
Right.
they should have the right to like come in and say, I've got an idea for it, because like I said, hopefully we're hiring somebody that has, I'm not saying that the people don't know what they're doing or we haven't, but I'm hoping this person that is hired has ideas as to how to do these things to make it easier for these volunteers too, for the committee, so that they are able to just coach, not coach and do all the, you know, all these other things.
they don't wanna
You
do
know?
more, they don't wanna do anything.
Right.
They wanna come there and just voice their opinion and have
Right.
it all happen by somebody else. We've just had to kind of, you
Mhm.
know, so I don't think there's gonna be a bunch of people going, hey, do it this way or doing that. I think there'll be a lot of freedom there, you know, it's just that we gotta know what we're asking them, you know what I mean, before I have a meeting with them.
Right,
I can't go in there and say, oh yeah, I have no idea how it's gonna work, you know, we had a plan kind of for that. So, I just wanted to know what we thought, everyone, so. Other than that, for baseball, I don't, you guys have anything?
All right, softball. Softball, I've got a couple of questions on schedules ready, but I told them they'll have to wait 3 or 4 months till we have the meetings to figure out what days their daughters will be playing on.
Any questions in December?
Do you know if we're playing on Mondays and Tuesdays and Wednesdays again this year? Yep.
Yes, all
Probably.
the above.
Probably. Sprinkle in a Friday too.
And Thursdays, Fridays,
Yeah.
till church league starts Thursdays, yeah.
Parents are already wanting to know what their schedules are gonna be like.
A parent and a coach so far. Yeah.
I don't know, my schedule is next week.
Two different
You
people.
know,
8 months from
And
now.
for rec, they wanna know that.
Micromanaging.
And the one coach was because she's figuring out her work schedule for next year, so that was kind of a legit question.
Sure.
If she should work nights on Tuesdays and Thursdays or Mondays and Wednesdays, I'm not gonna tell you one way or another right now and be wrong. So for our committee last year, I mean, we had a group of 4 or 5 people, and we kind of just told them what we had planned, and I don't know, they all seem to agree, and we'll kind of do the same thing. I hope the person we're hiring doesn't have to worry about softball at all, do as much as I possibly can to make their job a little bit easier. What I did last year wasn't overwhelming,
Right, wasn't a whole lot.
minus the website stuff, which Brittany did. Yeah, I don't have a lot of softball.
I have some.
I suppose next week, or next month, the registration will be open.
Yeah, so I wanna know, so this goes back to the website, but when do we want, I want it to be one day. When do we want registration open for everything? When do we want it to close, when are late fees assigned? And then softball, Sean recommended or asked if we could increase to $90 to match baseball, which I think makes sense. So,
the one thing, do you think you'll get any blowback on that, because now where you guys are playing in softball, you really don't have any fees hardly?
No,
You guys don't
because
have much fees either, do you?
Actually, you're right, we don't. We used to have it used to be $70 a team. And for some reason, who ran the prairie grass, last year I called them, 'cause I didn't wanna not pay them. I don't think we paid them the year before either, and they're like, well, hey, we don't have a really way to deal with the money. You know, whatever group they have set up running the Prairie Grass doesn't have a way to handle that money, so they're basically trying to say, don't pay.
I do think we need to be able to answer the question, you're raising our fees, $20 per player per year, when are you updating the field? And so that goes into item F, but we can talk about that later, but I think that that needs to be something we are all prepared to answer.
Yeah.
You know, that's the next item.
I mean, and that's the most questions I've got hands down is, why are the girls not getting the same treatment the boys are getting? Their fields.
And this
crap.
kind of ties into that.
I mean,
Why
I get
should
that
the
all
girls
the
play
time.
for $70 and the boys for 90?
Right.
You've gotta make that fair too. And the reason there's not a field is because we haven't
Yeah.
brought in any money, playing through subs all these years.
Well, it's not just that, it's the fact that we haven't had any money, we haven't spent any money on the other field either. I mean, we had the city did all the work. If it, at most, it cost $1,000 to bring in a thing of agri-line. The middle field, when they did that,
Okay, middle field.
yeah, not saying the big
Got it.
field, but the middle field, all the cities shot it, pulled it off, there's people that using skid steers and stuff like that. But other than a truck of agri-lime, I'm not even sure they actually didn't even use that. So those two fields, yet now more the one, haven't had the money spent on them, and the field section anyway, that the other field has, so.
And we can't just dump agri-lime on that field because it's gonna wash away anyway.
No.
I mean, you can see it driving by, it just gets worse and worse. Every time I drive by, I look, I'm like, oh.
Well, so you got some sort of estimate at one point, right? Was it from
That's from Stockwell.
Stockwell?
Yeah.
But it was like 30,000 or
And that was to do everything, you name it, was pull everything off, regrade,
So it would be $90
New
for
air
baseball,
line, et
softball.
cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
But
That
not
was like-
T-ball.
T-ball's
I wanna say it was
40,
30, wasn't
they
it?
all have a
I don't know,
$25.
something 18 or 30, other than
It was a
the
lot.
window there, but it was a
It was
lot. So,
$25, what's the?
I'm not saying it's
registration?
right, but what we did last time
Spring it was
is we
25.
just pulled the agri-lime off,
And
What
went
do you wanna
in,
do for this
shot
coming
it,
spring?
put down clay that we had, respread the agri-lime, reset the base.
25 and then $25.
And-
And we can do that.
What'd you say?
And it's worked.
What I don't wanna get into is,
Okay.
30.
it was 25 last.
well, what'll end up happening, and I can
Okay.
guarantee that this
Well,
happens.
let me look.
We end up doing the work per this board's direction.
I'm just gonna plan on.
And then the comments from coaches, parents, players, whoever it might be, is, oh, those city guys, they used to do crap.
Brittany, can the website be adjusted?
Well,
so
here's the thing, we did it,
concession?
And so we need this board to be
Yeah.
backing up the city
Oh,
staff.
It is already.
that's what we
It
did
has
last.
that.
Everybody
It's
thinks the
20.
boys are getting so much better than
Right.
the girls now, but all we did was that cheap fix, it took a week. You know what I mean? It wasn't
So
anything,
when do we want?
and once again, I wanted
registration?
the $30,000, well, we can't do the
Can't do it.
$30,000.
Registration.
So you
I
gonna just do
know,
nothing?
wait a second.
Right.
I mean, if there has to be a way to kind of do, I mean, it did work.
Yeah.
It's kept water off and it's been an all right field. The base is probably, like the mound didn't really get set quite right and, a couple things or whatever. But overall, it fixed that field, for a wait till we got $30,000 or whatever.
And you can
Is
tell,
this-
you can tell people it's a temporary fix, because on the softball field, you have your kids from just starting to high school girls all playing on one field. And so the comments I've heard were, the high school boys are playing on this really fancy field, high school girls get a crappy field. So both of those fields are considered boy fields.
Can we
And that's the only
table
girl
this
field.
to item F and then,
Yeah,
I'm not so sure
is that okay?
is the only girl field though in theory, especially for fall softball and stuff.
that's the only one we played on.
I wonder why they.
Well, but-
They should put.
What's the difference?
We
I mean,
just
there's
have
no
one
difference in the
for
bases
Jason.
and anything, is it?
No.
We just gotta move the mound up.
Jason.
What is item F?
We're gonna finish
This,
E,
what we're
and
talking
then we'll
about.
move on,
Yeah, yeah.
'cause we just need to finish up the date to open registration. and
Okay.
we can move on.
Okay, so normally it was February 1st. Last year we
Yes.
were delayed because it just took us a while to get the website going. So I'm gonna do February 1st and then March 1st close.
Usually it's like March 15th.
Isn't that well, that would be late, yeah. Or by late, I mean that's when the late fee would be assessed, because that's what I had.
Right, so March 15th was the last day. I
Okay,
think we kept them open through the 31st but they had the late fee
okay, so late fee,
from the 15th to the 31st.
okay.
Sunday.
And then can soccer be the same? Tina, is that
Yeah,
okay?
that's fine.
Okay. And we can always go in, cause I know we did that for a lot of kiddos, like they would ask after March 31st. You know, I didn't get a chance to get my kid registered, we would go in and open it up. It would assess the late fee, but they could still get registered, cause for T-ball especially, there's no reason they can't add up until May, you know, mid-May.
The hard part is you order uniforms and you order all this stuff, so
Yeah.
everybody's used to doing it like that. Even for T-ball now, I know that first year was a pain, and there are some people that add later, but if you have a different date for T-ball, then the coaches' meetings ends up late, everything's up late, and then all the T-ball parents
Well,
go
no, I wanna
bonkers.
do it the same day,
Yeah.
if I have a parent that just moved to town April 1st, and their kid wants to play T-ball, I feel like we should open it up for them,
We do,
yeah.
we do, there's people
But
that
other
forget
than
to
that, right.
and stuff, and honestly, we do it all the way up until we order uniforms.
Mhm,
So even even though it's closed, cause you gotta have a rule, right?
mhm.
It's not like we still haven't opened it up, you know, all the time. You can say, hey, I got this, you know what I mean, for,
And you
until
can't,
we,
you can't do it too long, you know, like last year we had a problem, we could've had a whole other team in baseball. And I had
Well,
15 kids on my team.
right. It's a fine line
So it's
between, are we
Yeah.
trying to make it, you know, let these kids play ball here, or
Right.
how much of it is taking on their parents and saying, well, you didn't sign up in time, your kid ain't playing.
Well, and that was hard, cause I
No.
think I had, I don't know, it was like in the same week, I had 7
10
kids
kids,
or some
yeah.
10 or something like that. And so
We were
I'm
flipping
divvying
coins
them
on
up
each team.
between
Yeah,
teams and,
yeah.
I mean, yeah, you could almost do another one, but you don't know
But then-
until
You
they're.
need to find out a coach and you,
Yeah, and if last
And
week I
more
said yes to a
practice
kid, do I
field
say
time.
no this week? And I don't know, that's
Why
tough.
is a week different? Yeah.
yeah, but if we, as the board say this is the deadline, then it's not on you, and it's posted on the website that this is the
The
deadline.
deadline's
No.
deadline.
I
Right.
agree,
You're right, you're
but
right.
when you're standing there with,
I know.
one of
I
them
didn't-
was somebody on our board and they had forgotten, and to tell them that their kid can't play baseball,
Or their two
I don't wanna be
kids
in charge of
moved here
that.
and they're with their grandma now, and
yes.
it is
Or I
difficult,
had,
once
I had
again,
foster kids last year
Yeah.
that just moved to town and they hadn't been in a sport
you need to
before, and
meet
the
friends.
parent gave me this story
You
about how
get
they
it all.
didn't have any friends, and I'm
Deep.
like, oh my gosh, I
He was-
can't
he
say
was
no
one of
to
my- He was
that.
one of my better players, I think.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I
The
mean,
foster kid was?
Yeah, I think, well, he's
There you go.
homeschooled or something.
we've gotta be strict with that deadline, but in the grand scheme, there's always some wiggle room, we've had it every year.
Yeah.
If it becomes problematic, when it has, at times, when everybody was registering late, but also it's us being consistent, right? If we always have it out February 1st, and it's done
Right.
this day, whatever, then, you know, maybe it's a year, but then people
Yeah.
already know.
Well,
Sometimes
it'll
we
be up
have,
to the specialist to say no, not me, so that's okay.
Right,
That's
right,
it.
right.
Brittany, what
Good
were the dates-
delegation.
What were the
Yes.
dates, what were the dates again?
February 1st to March 15th.
March 15th works really well for softball, because we don't have a full, like, it'll be the older kids. There's only 14 U players, they still have a week to sign up for salsa.
right,
That's gonna be hard, so with the soccer, I got to thinking of, like, counting back, it took me a little bit. Is it possible to do a March 1st for soccer, or because it's a weird, And then we could have
can,
late
it would be a
fee.
different registration, but that's fine, we can do a completely different registration for soccer, that's no problem.
I think.
Cause in we're gonna have to do a separate one in the fall anyway, so I think we could just have 2 registrations, and then in the fall, we can change those dates instead of reopening the,
is the pool going through this? Pool?
I don't, so that's something Nate and I need to talk about.
Okay.
I would like to do, like, if I wanna buy a summer pass, I can go onto the website right now, and instead of clicking registration, I click I wanna buy a family pass and pay through the website. That's what I would like to do. Nate and I just need to sit down and talk about that. They don't really have the capacity to be the daily POS for, oh, I want a Snickers and I'm at the pool and here's, you know, my credit card for my Snickers. That's not something that Sports Engine could really do, but I think that they could handle our season passes.
Yeah.
In my thought is if they do that, then there's a lot more people going to that website,
Right.
and then the value of the sponsorship goes
Yes.
up.
Yeah.
So it could
And
be
I'd
a
like
way
to
to
get that
subsidize,
rolled out
not a
soon.
lot, but a little of all those
I'll look at
programs.
that and get back to you
For the dates.
for the dates.
Okay. Yeah.
As to our last, we could possibly go.
I do have a call, planned with the Sports Engine liaison tomorrow, and so I'll just ask, you know, what do they recommend, or
Yeah, whether it should be one or it should be two, I don't, yeah.
Now we're on to F.
Okay, F.
Now you can talk about F as long as you want, Jason.
I don't want that.
No, let's not get
No.
carried away.
So, we have 10, what was with the city, 5, what did it end up being? Something that was budgeted for a project? I mean, I know we started at one number, but we ended at a different one.
Yeah, give me that.
And then, do you know, who had our finances of what our 201 fund was? We got that from Denise.
Wasn't it like 8,000?
I was
Clear
just
eight.
thinking $8,000.
It's like 20 something, for sure.
Nate, will you look what's in the 201 fund as well, please?
Yeah, he said the window. He opened the
I
window.
thought I had
But I
that, but
didn't-
it
never
was,
noticed that
Yep,
window before.
A-okay.
It's like-
I didn't either, but all of a
Thumbs
sudden-
up for-
All of a sudden, he opened the window. I was like, oh, hey.
Looks like you should be sticking fries out.
I think the 8,000 was something budgeted.
Yeah, and we
Our
thought it was
budget
8,
for
but we
the
asked her and it
specialist.
was like 24.
It's like, oh, I
Well,
feel
it's
like
the
some ice
8
cream.
budget for the
Go to the
specialist,
window.
I think it comes
Maybe
from.
that's what.
Yeah.
Because didn't we get confused at what was in there and it was a lower amount and then she said, no, this is what it was and it was like 20 or 24.
Yeah, it's gotta be, otherwise we're in deep
Okay,
chemistry.
so for 201, got 39,000 budgeted.
Yeah. Well, not, I mean, budgeted or what's in the fund carryover?
We're not supposed to carry it over.
201 you do.
That'll take you a little bit.
We couldn't do that anymore.
That's
Is
why
it
the
this
201
one?
fund's set up, is it? Yeah.
Is it this?
Yes,
Yeah, that was the goofy.
35,800.
that was, wasn't that the,
Well, that's what, I think what he's saying is that there was 38,500 budgeted for 39,000, but he's looking for like what was,
what's in there right now?
What was in
Like what's sitting there?
So for park board discretionary, is that what you're talking, Jason?
Yeah,
12,000.
okay. And then what was the 201 fund carryover? Oh, you didn't find out.
Yeah, I know that.
Okay.
What's
I can
price
get that
discretion
in
mean?
here, so. I wanna say,
There was
I
a
wanna say it's
Did
in the
that.
20s.
Yeah, that's what I was
I
kind of.
think that's what the fund balance was last time I remember.
Must
Was
be,
that
there
all
was
of our
something like
money?
a 201.
20 and then 12.
Yes.
Can we just go spend that on the
No,
softball field?
we gotta have some sort of leftover for whatever, but that
I wanna make sure with Denise that we're not pulling any, early on in the budget discussion, we had talked about pulling 201 fund balance for some of the pool operational. I think we decided not to do that because we want to take from somewhere else. But I wanna check with her to make sure.
I mean, the 201 fund, let's hope, I mean, you know, the 201 fund comes from all you guys'
Yep.
fees
Yep.
for baseball.
Which is
and all
why
that.
we moved against that.
Yeah, we don't. This guy would be super happy.
So as of, this is the October report, we'll have a November report next week. 201 fund balance was $22,666.91.
And then I do think there's probably, at the end of December, we'll have some, like, because it's got a positive amount in it this year, right? Or, you know,
Yeah, you
revenue
shouldn't
versus-
see any more move from that.
I
That
think
should
there's
stay
like,
the same.
honestly, I think there's like 7 or 8 that would be added to that from
So with,
revenue from 2019.
What do you mean?
Or is that the 2018? That's the 2019.
This is total fund balance.
Right now. And there's
Yeah.
probably not a lot coming in and out of that anymore,
No.
right?
so,
Okay, so 20.
So we began the year. So we took in $45,808 this year, spent $29,676 for fund balance.
But that
So we
makes
get a net positive of $13,500.
Right, but there's no way there's only 8,000 coming into 2000. Because we put 20-some thousand in last year from concessions and
All depends on what you spent last year. Or
Right.
what you,
it wasn't more than we. We'll have to get that
so
figured out.
the fund balance is basically that's over the last however many years, that's what your current fund balance is.
Okay.
and
So
then
we
that
could-
doesn't include the 12,000 discretionary, right?
No, that's next year. No, so this is actual dollars in that fund.
And you said what, 23, right, or something?
The 12,000
22,666.
22,666.
So, of that, what do you think is a good amount to, I mean, it's kind of random, to keep, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, it is a reserve balance essentially, I think you
Right.
should keep.
Can I ask a question before you answer that, Nate?
Yep.
So when Denise ties the fund with, sports engine, is this the fund that those registration dollars go
Yes.
directly into? It doesn't get filtered through the general fund first?
No,
Some
I
of
mean,
that doesn't go
goes
into
in
the
the
keep
general.
my, just
Checking
all
account.
in one or two checking
Yeah,
accounts.
yeah.
But it gets, but all of the
It's allocated
registrations
towards
she
that
puts in,
fund, yes.
because we're not gonna have any expenses between now and March, and then we're gonna get all those registrations in, so that, you know what I'm saying? So there's not gonna be any more expenditures.
No, what I'm saying is that the city's budgeted roughly 12 for us next year, right?
And that's out of the general fund.
And that's out of the
not
general fund. And we've got roughly 22, so that's a total of
But you said you didn't know how
34,000.
much we were gonna spend, but we're gonna have all those registrations, which can cover our summer. We
No,
shouldn't
I'm
need to
saying I
use
don't-
that 22.
Well, I don't think
What
you
do
can
you
use
wanna
all
do?
22.
What are you wanting to use it for?
Well, that's the
The
question,
softball
that's the,
field, that's
well,
the answer to.
I mean, we said.
I mean, to me, I don't think we
Right.
you know, there's gotta be a way to do it very similar to what we did the last one, that honestly was under a couple $1,000 to
Yeah.
do. I
The
mean,
thing is if you were able to
until we can do it
clay
right.
it, flatten it, and extend the infield,
Raise it a little bit.
and you know, well, but when you flatten it, you'd raise it, and you extend the infield, a lot of softball isn't played in the outfield, you know, for a lot of the levels. So you have a good infield, you're set. You know, you get to the high school, you have a good, I mean, then you have a little bit of the grass, but
Our concern is still going to be where that water goes.
Just
after
some
we
drain
finish
to it.
this.
Right.
We don't have anywhere.
There's no retention area.
you would have to drain tile it. You would have to put drain tile in and go to the soccer field or the street, you can't go to the street because that's
doesn't
already
go
a
anywhere.
mess, that's already a.
Yeah,
So what did
It
Mitch
was-
Yeah,
say?
how much was that?
30 if I remember right.
30?
Yeah, to
To
tile
put
it,
the-
tile and do everything.
Oh,
To do everything?
And that doesn't
So-
probably include, well, of course, he's probably tied to your guys' retainer or something, but he's got an engineering fees on top of it.
There are engineering fees in there.
Plus, he's not done a project that doesn't have a change order, does he? Any of those engineers?
Well, no, there's never a project without a change order.
Yeah, so I just don't think that we have the money to
Right.
do it, the official, we gotta do it.
Right, we gotta do something.
But we
because-
just can't necessarily do it
But how can we do it in an unofficial way? It doesn't work like that
that's through
anymore.
engineer, through a whole project, through a thing.
But didn't we talk about this another time and it was decided that we can't just ask Joe Schmo to come and do it? It has to be done through an engineer.
Well, it could
I
be
don't
done,
know.
it could be done through the
Through
city
the
as,
city and
as.
volunteer help.
Through the city, through Park and Rec,
Right.
as a maintenance issue, not a, you know,
We did the other field too, we drain tiled that all ourselves.
I know,
Yeah.
but we talked about that and I thought it was
And
decided
the
we
Legion
couldn't
went,
do
went
that
down there and
anymore.
did all the AstroTurf. You know, we're not that official that we can't get stuff done for a reasonable amount of money, you know, we
I
still gotta
agree
do
with
budget.
you.
You know, we don't
I
have to
just
go
don't know
through
what the city's
There's a-
perspective is.
if there's a, was there $30,000 or $50,000 something that if you spend over that, then it has to go out for bid, but we're talking trying to
it'd
get
be
done
under,
for
oh
3
yeah.
or 4 grand.
3 or 4, yeah.
Is what we're gonna try, you know, cause that's what we did the last one for, I mean, there is a, history here.
Right.
You know, we just did it 2 or 3 years ago, it didn't cost us that much money, we haven't had no feedback, blowback from, people saying they don't do a good job or none of this stuff, I mean, nobody said that.
You don't.
Well, and they might still say they suck, right, but, you know, but once again, tell them to come up with $100 grand, you know what I mean? It's gotta come
And
back.
that is my
Because
answer.
it'll be out
Yeah.
there,
You either get it done or you get it
Well, it's
done.
not like I wanna do it for
So that
35
means
bucks,
like-
I wanna do it for $100 grand,
Yeah.
but want to and
One need or two different things.
one
Can
need
we
are two
do,
different
like,
things. So to me, if we figured out a way to do the softball
Do we
field,
need to,
even if we spent a little bit more money and did a little bit better job,
They couldn't do that with the pole.
we
My,
got,
my suggestion would be to use the money out of that fund, if it's under 5,000.
Which
That,
fund?
that leaves you out of 201.
Okay.
That
But that-
leaves you still with a decent amount in reserve, north of 15,000. But it also means that you still have the discretionary available out of the recreation and general fund.
and that makes sense, probably especially to you. If we spend that money first, our 201 carries over. that 12,000, if that's not spent by the end of the year, goes back into the general fund.
And then
No,
we don't
it's
get
not
it
spent
again
by the end of
next
the year, it
year.
doesn't exist.
Yeah, it doesn't even exist,
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't,
And then we won't get it again.
no, well, we might, it just depends on how things go with the stuff, but still, I think that's.
You got it for 2020.
In my mind, we've gotta figure out, us as a group have to figure out how to get that done and figure out some sort of estimate, you know, whatever that might be.
So on this, Nate, can we have, business volunteer stuff towards the field on this particular project? So if we go to a contractor who is,
Well, the same
Who-
people.
you know, somebody who can do the field, you know, pull up the turf, put the clay in, and they'll volunteer labor, just not materials. Is that anything that we would
I
have to
think
get?
that's fine.
Okay.
I think, you know, obviously we have to go through all the insurance
Right.
stuff that we
They
normally
have to, well,
do
and
anyway.
if they're a business, they'd be already bonded or
Right.
whatever.
Right.
And that's, you know, even that's where our committees come in and some other people.
Yeah.
We've got people around here that are pretty smart in
Right.
Lennox, that are engineers
Oh,
and
yeah.
this and that. I'm not saying we have all the connections, but all the other projects that we've done, I mean, other than the scoreboard or whatever, every other project that we've done there has been materials and labor provided by city, us collectively.
We also have a fair number of unlicensed engineers in this town that know everything there is to possibly know
Right.
about
Well, and
construction,
I did talk to Mitch about.
which way water flows.
Before we did that out there, you know, there was Tipton and there was Orville that had the ability to do that last time, but I talked to Mitch about that, and his only real thing was, hey, we can do that for you for not that much money, but understand that, you know, he's the same way. He puts his fingers on it, now he's responsible for everybody that says you paid Mitch $3,000 to do this, so, but regardless, we don't have the other money, so
Right.
we're gonna have to figure out
Okay.
to me, that's a priority one. The other thing, if you did, and the fields have been our biggest thing, last year, you know, I had a portable generator and, what else did I, and a shop vac, and if we had some sponges that were,
Industrial sponges. I know
if
what
we
you're
had a
talking about.
system that had an industrial sponge, a shop vac, and a generator, that little bit of water can come off that field quickly and give it a chance to dry. Now granted, if we get the field all fixed so there's less of it sitting there, that's way better. But the biggest problem I always had with the city didn't necessarily have the stuff to do it or the people to do it, and you say
And I'm
whatever.
still not gonna have the people to do it.
And then the other part was they just said, well, that rain's been on there since yesterday, and if we wait for that through, you know, evaporation, we won't play all week.
Right.
You know, and they don't agree with that. They want an attempt at taking the water off and then let Mother Nature do its thing, and if it works, great, and if it doesn't, great. If we don't make the attempt, that's where all the feedback has come.
Well, I know in Sioux Falls, they
I-
have a squeegee broom type thing, and they sweep it out of the collection areas, and, you know, back to the backstop, whatever, and that helps the drying immensely. You just get it off of the problem areas.
Well, and sometimes that creates a hole.
Right.
We've done that too, but regardless, I'm saying from our funds, let's say if we can come up with some things that makes that water be able to come off the field, I don't care if it's a generator, a shop vac, a sponge, a squeegee. If we do some research and figure out something that makes it pretty easy and quick to get the water off, along with the whatever we can pull off on the softball field, then I think that,
Call the guys in Wagner. What are,
I need to be clear though, I can't take my streets guys
right,
after a rain and say, hey guys, I know you have 16 miles of streets to fix in this town, but go dry off the baseball field.
well, mostly it was our summer help last year that was supposed to do that.
Some leaf blowers.
I didn't have stuff for them to do it,
Yeah.
right? So a lot of coaches did it and everything else, including myself. But to me, this is for the high school kids, unless you're not gonna hire them this year. Not hiring them this year.
We're gonna have to pay labor. So we'll have labor available yet,
yeah,
but, you know, some of that's gonna depend on what time it is.
Yeah.
If it rains at 2 in the afternoon, no, we probably won't be able to get it.
Well, 2 in the afternoon, people are, you know, people have common sense. You know, if it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon, I'm supposed to play at 5 and it rains, they're like, okay. And I've listened to them because they call me every single, you know, it's when it's the night before or whatever the deal is and it never gets taken off. You know, to even give Mother Nature a shot, you know what I mean? So, inmate labor might work, and if that's something I gotta go to the committee with and say, okay, hey, we gotta get this off, and this is what we're doing. Cause the complaints aren't gonna go away, and they don't like to hear no, or you know what I mean, or there's nothing being done on it, you know what I mean, no forward progress. So.
Maybe if the
I
specialist
can
takes
pray
some
for
of the
no
other
rain. I mean, I gotta be honest, guys,
items, then
this is an
then
outdoor
we can do
sports
these
league.
kinds of
Yeah.
things.
Weather happens.
But,
I get it, but weather happens.
no, but I personally, at least
When
15
a
times.
basketball game is canceled because of a blizzard, I don't blame the DOT for not getting the road open.
No, but I personally, at least 15 times, went up there and got water off the field the night before, and we played the next day. If I wouldn't have went up there and got the water off the field, we wouldn't have played the next day.
Right.
You know, there was
But
tournaments
I
in the
can't
city.
justify spending $12 an hour for 3 people to have a couple of baseball games the next day. I just can't justify that.
But if we had the
Well, like
equipment,
I said,
Jason and I could
yeah.
do it.
Dude, right.
I did it once last
I
year.
just need to make clear that I can't task specific city staff to that over other priority items. I
No,
just can't.
but, I mean, once again, if we don't have any kids, when those kids, when it's raining or they can't mow anyway, you know what I mean? And they're granted, it's not the kids anyway, it'll be inmate labor or whatever else. And we're not saying 100%, but, you know, maintaining the fields is a city thing to some extent,
It is.
you know? And so,
But we cannot control the weather or what it does and
So can
No.
I ask a question? Can we get some maybe estimates, you know, on improving the softball field? Can we do that maybe? I don't know if you know somebody maybe that would be willing to donate their time,
Right.
well,
so that we could try to get a plan in
does
place.
the city have the ability to scrape the field and take it over to the old football field like they've done in the past?
probably.
And
How
then
did they get the equipment in last time, you know?
they
Were
just
doing
drove
that?
it right through
The south side?
They drive it through, yeah. And then they took it, they scraped it off
Skid loader?
and took with a skid loader and took it off down to where we usually have the agri line down there. And then shot it and then used, you know, that's the part I think I know we have to do, right? Or to take responsibility for or whatever. But if they can scrape it, and then even if we have somebody shoot it and put the clay back in and they come spread the agri line, you know, what do we have from our own staff that, or own city that we can do?
I would bet
that you
we
feel
could
comfortable
do
with?
a fair amount of it. Scraping it off isn't a problem. Getting the elevations correct is the
Right, that's
the most
the
challenging.
Drainage, right?
Yeah,
Well, the
But
drainage.
as long as you have
should-
somebody that's qualified
right.
supervising that process, I think you're in okay shape.
So I would say if we can find somebody that, you know, even if wasn't there stuff with the school and landscape designers or something, or?
Yeah, so I've been speaking with the sports turf management instructor, and so I just didn't wanna for sure say that that's gonna happen, but we are discussing if potentially there's some things that they can help with in the spring.
Even if they
So-
could shoot it and
Right.
make it regulation, you know, the drainage isn't gonna get fixed.
By
Regardless.
shoot it, do you mean?
That means they put these,
Level it.
they level,
They're
they take
leveling
these things
because-
out here and they make it
Yeah.
slow.
Remember that
going.
transit you saw?
Yeah, the
Use
transit.
lasers
So what I'm
Laser
wondering
thing.
though, like,
to figure
we have
Chris is
sports
not
turf
what
management, but then we
Nielsen-
also
Isn't that what
have,
Nick Nielsen does?
what's it called? Are they level?
On side?
He's a
Oh,
surveyor.
the,
Yeah, it'd be the same
you're
thing.
just talking
They
about
do
equipment operator
elevation
guys.
Banner.
stuff too, or you just do houses and
Banner
stuff?
is the name of a company that does it.
Banner?
What's
Yeah,
it called?
Banner and Associates.
Yeah, but what do they do? Come on. you guys.
Surveys.
Surveys, we have a
Yeah.
survey, so
Yeah.
do we
Maybe
need
Nielsen.
both, you know what I'm saying?
My buddy's one of the head engineers at Banner, making these front lines.
Well,
Just
that's,
come out here and supervise crap.
So yeah, that's something.
well,
that
and
we
even if we
really
have
do.
to, then if it's something we have to hire, Mitch to, a plan to look at, or you know what I mean, whatever you need, whatever.
No, again, my concern is making sure that when it's done, it works.
Right.
Yeah.
And number two, that everybody knows that this water's gonna have to go somewhere,
Yeah,
and nobody's gonna like where it goes.
right.
Right.
'Cause there's gonna be mud puddles in front of the stands and by the dugouts. That's what's gonna end up happening unless we,
But that's
Do a long-term
better than
style.
not being able to play though.
Well, right. And once again, it's doing nothing doesn't help us very much either, so.
right,
The other thing is, we talked to those guys, you know, we did put drain tile in,
On their field.
on the big field, you know, so if it's gonna run that way, we could put a section of drain tile right there.
So is
And
that all
try to
running
pull
to
it
the
out.
softball field right now? Is that what's happening?
No, it's just everything runs
The
that
slope-
way in
the
town.
slope-
Where does it go from the baseball field?
It goes into the, storm sewer.
Why can't the softball field go in the storm
I don't
sewer?
think
No
there's
storm sewer.
There's no
allowed.
sort, yeah.
Nowhere
Eight
around there?
blocks of Elm Street,
No,
not single
yeah.
storm sewer.
That's why they had to patch that
So this
entrance
is
in
a
and out.
city issue, not a
Yes.
park and rec issue.
Yes.
You are part of the city when you take a
Well,
step.
I mean.
But it's a
they-
several
but if
million
they
dollars.
fix their storm
Yeah.
sewer right there, then we wouldn't.
There's no storm sewer to fix, that's the
If you
issue.
added storm sewer there.
That would,
Yeah.
that would help out millions.
Yeah.
It would help that entire
Yeah,
neighborhood.
yeah.
But let's just say the city can, provide some equipment and some labor to do, we need somebody to come in and say, and even to cut that bigger back there, right? Okay, somebody stake that out, even if it's us running
Yeah.
we can do
And
that.
I will be out there as much as
Right.
I have to be, if we make that thing better.
Right.
Yeah.
Where can we make it go? Is there any way,
Even if it goes to the back right corner,
That's where you're gonna have to take.
and where people warm up, if you turn that into if you can dig a hole
A retention pond.
and like a little, and not open, put some rock and gravel down there, so you have a place where it would go and then it can disperse as it goes along.
But that's something we can talk about with them too.
Right.
We just need kind of the brains in the middle here to
well,
kind
I'm
of do
just
some
wondering
of
if there's
that.
any way can it drain? I don't know how drainage works, so I apologize.
Water
It's
flows
really
down.
stupid.
Downhill.
I know it goes downhill, but can it go somehow underneath or around the concession and into
Yes,
the old football field?
Yes.
Not to bother soccer or if we ever do a baseball field there, but I mean, just a little
That's-
retention pond where nobody's ever going to be playing baseball on the other side of the middle field fence.
if we're going to do it where it's not going to impact anything else, it's going to take drain tile from Park Drive and basically run it all the way down to the ditch along 44.
Yeah.
But if we
Because
get it just
otherwise
leak,
it'll-
just get it there for now.
There's a lot of stuff in the way there though.
Yeah.
Cause we hit it.
You hit it.
I didn't.
It wasn't you, of
The
course.
cement guy hit it, and Hanish fixed it and stuff, but there's stuff in the.
Yeah, that's just, instead of rerouting it onto
There is
the
a
field,
street
I'm not
there,
saying that's not a good plan, it's just,
We
is
have to
there a
think
better
about too.
place?
Right.
Cedar Street is a street.
That floods real quick there too,
Yeah.
and makes a mess. But still, I think we can, if it's some drain tile, if it's taking it to a spot on the other side of the dugout, right, where a shot back will work.
Yeah.
You take a shot back right there and,
Or
it's just,
even on those spots, if you just make it more rock than mud, if you bring in just some more rock for the people to walk on and it's not mud, if that's where the water's going, that makes it, you can walk on rocks with water and you don't get soaked. If it's mud, you don't,
well,
I
and
just don't
so,
wanna do it on the field though,
Right.
it's
Can
like
you
get
putting
off
the
of
rock on the field.
Brittany,
you
can
know?
you talk to the?
So I have talked to sports turf management, but I'm wondering if I should also talk with, surveying.
And if you need to put them in contact with one of us or whatever the deal is and whatever it is, we can help with that, but, we need to get something done and we don't have the money to necessarily do it perfect, so let's figure out the best way we cannot, so we're not spending money that's not gonna still work later, If you cut this out, you're still gonna wanna do that.
Who that still works for the city was around last time we did this?
It's 2 years.
Meckles, probably,
Okay, I'm gonna suggest we meet with Jeremy and Darren in the next month or so.
Okay.
And say, number one, try and figure out what Darren remembers of how all this.
most of
laid
it
out.
was, Orville and, Tipton,
Mhm.
but Tipton's still around. And,
Now, what Tipton?
Dave.
Yeah, okay, so I can get Dave. I know I can get
And the
Dave.
transit's owned by the city, that they shot it with.
If not, I can say, Dave, I'm gonna come borrow your skid loader and I can drive Dave's skid loader across the
Well,
road.
here's the thing, and I know your guys' standpoint, but it's kind of, at this point, let's use whatever resources we got, whether they have good or bad, you know what I mean? And we'll try to do better, but he didn't do bad on that one, maybe it was Orville did, I don't know, they're both around too, it's not super complicated what you're doing out there either to try to make it better.
No, it's not.
So, but once again, I don't care who we use, as long as we get something going, that's been a thing at least for 3 years now.
Yeah.
And
And I think we could easily take care of it.
Yeah.
yeah, we gotta get that and
I
figure
think
out,
we can do it.
and figure out what that money is, right, to what that is gonna cost us doing it our way. And then see if we can do some other little stuff. I mean, there's stuff out to
Did
add.
you use the AgriLife last time?
Yes,
Okay.
they did add.
That's one of the bigger.
Well, they did add some, but once they found out that we've been pouring AgriLime on those fields, some of it was that, you know, I mean,
Sure.
not everywhere.
Yeah,
but
plenty
a lot
of
it
access
was-
to use.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
there was a lot more,
Got it.
and then they thought, they didn't have to use as much as they thought, but yeah, it's like
Okay.
$1,500 a truck full or something like that.
Yeah, it ain't cheap.
Yeah, it's not very,
Transporting it's not cheap.
yeah, yep. But if we have any, Brittany, you guys, you know, if we have any way to, that middle piece,
Yep.
you know, are you willing to come down there, meet with us, look at it, kinda come up with some sort of design, and can you shoot the elevations? You know, and then it's very possible that we could get somebody, even if it is Tipton's group or the city, to come in and level that to that elevation. You know, Tipton dug the old thing out, you know what I mean, and they do a good job as long as you, tell them what the hell they did, right? You know, they can't figure out where to put, you know, they gotta make sure, so. Let's go down that, and once again, we don't have to have everybody do it for free.
Right.
You know what I mean? We can pay people to do this, you know, we just gotta make sure we don't spend money we don't have.
Perfect. All right, well, I think that closes out F.
Right.
We got a motion to adjourn from anybody.
Me, motion.
Do we have a second?
A second.
Oh, she got on the board.
Oh.
Adjourned.
That's